Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey. Every weekday I read one chapter of the New Testament and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 25. Jesus said, "Then the kingdom of heaven will be compared to 10 virgins, who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were prudent. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them. But the prudent took oil in the flasks along with their lamps. Now while the bridegroom was delaying, they all got drowsy and began to sleep. But at midnight there was a shout, 'Look, the bridegroom! Come out to meet him!' Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the prudent, 'Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out.' But the prudent answered, 'No, there will not be enough for us and you as well. Go instead to the dealers and buy some for yourselves.' And while they were going away to make the purchase, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Later the other virgins also came, saying, 'Lord, Lord, open up to us.' But he answered, 'Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Be on the alert, for you do not know the day or the hour. For it is just like a man about to go on a journey who called his own slaves and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his own ability, and he went on his journey. Immediately the one who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them and gained 5 more talents. In the same manner, the one who had received 2 talents gained 2 more. But he who received the 1 talent went away, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those slaves came in and settled accounts with them. The one who had received the 5 talents came up and brought 5 more talents. 'Master, you entrusted 5 talents to me. See, I've gained 5 more talents.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful slave. You were faithful in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.' Also, the one who had received 2 talents came up and said, 'Master, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have gained 2 more talents.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful slave. You were faithful with a few things, but I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.' And one who also had received the 1 talent came up to him and said, 'Master, I knew you were a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. And I was afraid, and I went away and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours.' But this master answered and said to him, 'You wicked, lazy slave. You knew that I reap where I do not sow and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to put my money in the bank, and upon arrival I would have received my money back with interest. Therefore take away the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. For to whoever has more, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who does not have, even what he does have will be taken away. Throw out the worthless slave into the outer darkness, in that place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. But when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them from one another, as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats, and he will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on the right, 'Come, you who are blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me.' Then the righteous will answer him, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry, or feed you, or thirsty, or give you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come to you?' The king will answer and say to them, 'Truly I say to you, to the extent that you did it to one of these brothers of mine, even the least of them, you did it to me.' Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, accursed ones, into the eternal fire which has been prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. Naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me.' Then they themselves will also answer, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison, and you did not take care of you?' Then he will answer them, 'Truly I say to you, to the extent that you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me.' These will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life." One thought. Jesus continues the Olivet Discourse here. It's a continuation of chapter 24. Chapter 24 is more of Jesus' direct teaching on some of the things surrounding the destruction of the temple and his second coming. But now Jesus more or less applies how should we, live in light of the fact that Jesus will come again. And he uses parables to illustrate his point. These parables all are focused on a scenario where someone is away and some people act wisely, doing the responsibilities that are given to them, while others act irresponsibly and they get caught up in other things or they misunderstand things. And then when that person returns, they're not ready. And so the point of all of this is found in verse 13, where Jesus says, be on the alert, right? We don't know when Jesus is coming back, so we need to be on the alert. What does that mean? Well, Jesus defines what being on the alert looks like in this chapter. He sketches it out for us. Being on the alert doesn't necessarily mean looking for clues to Jesus' return. It doesn't necessarily mean trying to match up dates and times and figure out an elaborate scheme to pinpoint, okay, now we're going to figure out when he's coming back. These are the signs of his return. That's not really what he says at all. In the parable of what's known as the talents, the point is that we need to steward the resources that God gives us. That's what being alert looks like. So some of these servants are given talents, which is a type of money in that day, and some use them well and make more, meaning they're stewarding these resources well. And then there's the lazy servant who misunderstands the nature of his master and just buries his talent in the ground. He's irresponsible. And he's not ready to give back to his master when his master returns. We see that being alert also means serving the least of these. Jesus demonstrates that there are those that are, as they're doing good works, feeding the hungry, giving water to the thirsty, clothing the naked, that they're actually serving Christ. And others are claiming to be religious, but they have no desire to serve others. They have no desire to do acts of mercy and justice. And so Jesus cast them out. And so Matthew 25 reminds us that staying alert for Jesus' return isn't about passively waiting, but it's about actively living in faithfulness. By wisely stewarding our resources and serving those in need, we demonstrate a heart that is ready for the King.